Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is straight out of Boston, aka the King of Boston. Today we're back for episode 10 of the Boston Celtics MyGM here in NBA 2K14 Next Gen. And today we are back for the first offseason, getting into the 2014 offseason, the summer of 2014. And let's head right into it. LeBron James is your MVP award winner for, I believe, what would be the third or fourth straight time. Can't do it off the top of my head. Carter Williams gets Rookie of the Year. Ish Smith gets Most Improved. Larry Sanders defensive. I don't know what actually Ish Smith got. Ish Smith might have got Sixth Man because Bledsoe got Most Improved. Randy Whitman got Coach of the Year. I don't really know how, but I mean, I know the Wizards went 49-33, but I guess that in itself was a little weird. But you can take a look at the All-NBA first, second, and third team. We did not have anyone make any of these teams until we get to the All-Rookie second team, which you'll see in a moment. But you can see here we are, Vitor Favrani making it at center. So that's cool to see. At least we got somebody on some sort of team. Take a look at the playoff backer right here. We're simulating through the playoffs, and you can see the Thunder actually get knocked out in the first round. And it wasn't too unexpected. I mean, your four final teams were Blazers, Spurs, and then Bulls and Heat. Nothing too out of the ordinary happened. I mean, obviously, you're always going to have some out of the ordinary in a video game like this, but nothing too weird. LeBron and the Heat do win. LeBron gets the MVP again. And you can take a look at the retired players, as you can see right here, and we're going to head into the offseason expectations, or at least we have a new expectation from our owner, Bernard Patton, and you see he wants us to increase the fan interest to 77%. We're at 47% right now. That's going to be kind of hard to do, so I'm going to say maybe. I don't know how easily fan interest can increase in this game, but I guess we'll have to find out. So we tell him maybe. He also wants Zach Randolph shopped around. He's a player that I do plan on shopping around, but I'm not really sure how quickly, so I think I told him I might accomplish it. Here we go. We're going to allocate some funds. I'm not really too big on player payroll this year because this is still not a year where I'm planning to contend quite yet. So I put some more payroll into some other stuff. But take a look at the draft lottery. We have the 5th and 13th selections in the lottery, and we ended up with the 5th and 13th pick. Combine that with the 23rd pick, which we got from the Memphis Grizzlies, and that is how we end up having those 3 first-round picks. So out of the players that I'm going to re-sign before free agency starts, I'm only going to extend an offer towards one of them, and that is going to be Vitor Favrani. We don't have a ton of cap space, so I offer him as much as I could, but anyway, getting Vitor Favrani for $2.5 million a year, that would be a bargain in my opinion. He's a really good third big man, and getting a third big man for $2.5 million is a very good price. So anyway, we're heading into the 2014 NBA draft, and let's get right into it. First things first, I wanted to trade up with the 13th and the 23rd pick. The Miami Heat want to give up the 7th pick. I am fine with doing that. We also throw in our 5th pick in the second round. That is quite fine. So we trade up to the 7th. That will give us the 5th and the 7th pick in the NBA draft. That is huge. But then we get this call from the Toronto Raptors GM, and they want to trade the 2nd for the 7th pick, the 7th and the 5th. So I actually tried to negotiate this trade a little bit. I wanted to see, well, you know, it could be a little much for the 2nd. I'm not really too sure. Let's see maybe if we can negotiate like a 2nd round pick out of this, or maybe like an extra asset or something. Well, they end up not wanting to do anything in that. And then when I actually offer them their original trade, they still would not do it. So I ended up having to walk away thinking, okay, maybe I can just go do this trade again. But oh my goodness, the Raptors end up taking Andrew Wiggins before I can do anything. So we lost down on the 2nd overall pick. So I decided that because it was Jabari Parker and Andrew Wiggins, those 2 players were players that I was targeting in the draft, I'm going to have to go after them at the beginning of the year and try to trade for them. We'll see what we can do. I just draft Julius Randle, and I'm going to end up drafting Dario Saric with my 5th and 7th overall picks. But I really do not plan on keeping them long term because, like I said, I would like to package them together for a player like Wiggins or Jabari Parker. But we'll see. You can see we're into free agency here. Each one more, I'm going to extend a small contract offer. I would love to have him back as like a 4th guard off the bench. He is a pretty effective scorer. He can do a lot of things. I was really impressed with him at the end of the year. Jeff Taylor is another nice player that I'd like to get. I really liked what I saw of his rookie year in Charlotte last year. He's out for the year this year in real life with an Achilles injury, but I still like Jeff Taylor as a nice, solid player. Like, I think he could be really useful off the bench. We need some more scorers. And both Jeff Taylor and Vitor Favrani actually end up accepting their deal, mainly because I promised Favrani to be a starter. I did not mean to. Also, if you guys are wondering how I'm getting around the whole like cannot edit offers to players glitch, I'll leave a link in the description for a workaround that I figured out. I did not personally figure it out, but I found the video for. So I have about 3,900 VC, and that is how you spend training camp points this year. So I was spending 1,500 on on-tap potential for both Avery Bradley and Jared Sullinger. Those are 2 players I've talked about holding on to for a while now, and being able to upgrade their potential is huge. Sellinger's was only like a 75 before the upgrade, so that was really big, and then Bradley's is up to like a 92 now, so he could really blossom into something special. But we'll see. You can see we have some new owner goals here. You can take a look at them on the screen. I told the owner that we would definitely improve our roster as the season goes along, which, you know, is interesting because, you know, this is not really going to be this kind of full-on rebuilding tank time type of year anymore. Like, we have our assets that we want, and it's kind of time to use those to move this roster a little bit forward into not really contention quite yet, but just improving. So here is our first trade that we're going to do. We have 2 major trades coming up at the end of this offseason, and this one we are doing for Jabari Parker. I told you guys I wanted Parker or Wiggins, and we had some extra assets laying around with Julius Randle, Dario Saric, and a couple first-round picks. Now, I would not personally value my 2015 first-round pick that highly, but I guess the Bucks do. They want Jeff Taylor, Julius Randle, and a first-round pick for Jabari Parker. I said, go with it, have them. That is fine by me. You can see we have this little press conference afterwards. And then here's the next trade. Eric Bledsoe for a 2016 first-round pick and Zach Randolph. Eric Bledsoe is a standout point guard for the Phoenix Suns this year. The Suns actually drafted Marcus Smart in this. I don't know why. So I figured they wouldn't be too devastated giving up Eric Bledsoe. This gives them Zebo, then they'd have Dragic, and they could compete a little bit right now. So it'd be an interesting group, I would think. So they get rid of Eric Bledsoe. I imagine if they drafted Marcus Smart, they would have wanted to move in a different direction. So I figured, hey, let me go after Eric Bledsoe. He's a player that I've had in previous associations, and he's a really good young player. I thought about going after Ty Lawson because I was looking at Ty Lawson's signature skills, and he has like pick and roll maestro and alley-ooper, and I was like, oh, I could really work with those. But I decided to go with Eric Bledsoe. This gives us a standout defensive team, and getting Eric Bledsoe kind of makes up for the defensive weaknesses of Jabari Parker, who's not a strong defender on these rosters. He's only like a C perimeter defender. But having Ashik, Bradley, and Bledsoe, that's going to be a good defensive team. Now, looking at the roster moving forward as we kind of go through our rotation right now, I have 4 of my 5 future players really set. I have Bledsoe, Bradley, Parker, Sullinger. Ashik is on a 1-year deal, and he's a player that I could resign, but I think if I'm going to upgrade to the position right now, moving forward, it's going to be the center position. Because I think Ashik's kind of peak. He's 28 years old at this point. 2 years from now, he's going to start to decline heavily. Centers at 30 in this game they pretty much start to have the wagons fall off, so to say. But I think that's a position I'm going to look to improve heading into next offseason. Now, Ashik, because 2K does not recognize Ashik's cap hit, it just recognizes his contract. He actually represents $15 million in expiring cap space. Andrea Bargnani represents, I believe, $11.5 million in expiring cap space. And I plan on trading Gerald Wallace in some sort of trade for someone on an expiring contract. That represents a total of $35 million in cap space. So I believe we're actually $10 million over for this year, but if you subtract that out, then we have $25 million in cap space moving into the next offseason. That's more than enough for a max free agent. And I think with a couple really good name centers out there, like I think Roy Hibbert is expiring, he can opt out of his deal. Marc Gasol is on a 1-year contract. Like, we have some opportunity to possibly go after a big name center. If not, I'll probably look to trade for one. I still have some assets. I have both first-round picks from the Grizzlies and the Magic for this upcoming year. I still have Kelly Olynyk. I still have Marshawn Brooks, who has some trade value. There's some moves to be made here with this roster, and we still have Dario Saric, who's, I did not talk about him a lot in the video, but he's still there. He has like 3 stars of trade value. So there's still a move or two to be made with this club. I'm not sure what it's going to be. Maybe we trade for that center this year so we have the rights to re-sign him or something. I'm not really sure. We'll see what happens, but nonetheless, that's pretty much going to do it. So I was really happy with how the offseason turned out. The stream, it was a little bit shaky. It went down at one point, but thanks to those who came out, we had a ton of people come. It was like 250 people. I usually never get more than like 70 in my stream. So shout out to you guys who came. As for the roster, like I said, Bledsoe, Bradley, and Parker, those 3 positions are set for the future. Sullinger, I'm pretty sure is going to be set. We'll see how his progression is. And then, center is the position where we're going to look to upgrade in the future. And I think that this year we're going to take a little bit of a step. We do not own our first-round pick, so I'm not worried about tanking or anything like that. So I think we could take a little bit of a step, maybe not towards the 8th seed, but you'll see some signs of improvement from this roster. I think we're going to be a stout defensive team. Both Parker and Sullinger, we should improve on offense more so than we did last year. So I think that's going to be a good thing, and I think that I really like how the offseason went. I hope you guys are excited too. I think I'm going to wrap up this video right here. So like I said, my plan for now, we have some moves to be made with this roster. We have the Bargnani expiring, and then we have the Gerald Wallace contract. We also have assets like Olynyk, Brooks. We have 2 first-round picks this upcoming year, so there's some moves to be made. I don't think I'm done, but or at least not done this season. I'm done for the off season, of course, but nonetheless, that's pretty much going to do it. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Hope you did enjoy. Like I said, next to those came out to the stream. So, peace.